Hi there, Raj here from Trading College, just showing you this week's newsletter and just having a look at the general look at the markets and where everything is at the moment, mainly on the daily charts today. So what we've done is we've got a bit of a wobble in the indices. You can see we have some downside PTS targets. It looks like we could roll over for a momentum trigger here. And this comes after a pretty decent uptrend. But really what we're looking at is where potentially we could see some support here. So if we draw the fibs from the low of the most recent wave to the high of the most recent wave, the swing high, you can see this is the kind of area that we would be focused on. If it can get to the 61.8 or the 76.4 next week and break through, then we know that we could be in for a bearish slant here. Very conceivable to get down there before it goes back up. But if it goes back up, we're going to need to look for a break of this wave high and this support level. And this support level looks pretty strong indeed, because you can see we have a good amount of touches at this level here. You know, it's pretty significant in the DAX. So really, if we get a bounce and then a move beyond that over the next 2 or 3 weeks, that would be very, very important for a swing trade. But at the moment, you know, we're looking to see how far this movement to the downside can go and whether we're going to hit more of these PTS targets. That's what we're looking at next week there in the DAX. For the S&P, it's a very different picture. The S&P is actually looking a little bit more bullish, and there's a strong support level underneath where we are at the moment. And I'll kind of show you where that is right now. So if I highlight this whole block here, for the price to get to this level where we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 significant areas, we're going to have to break through these moving averages to the downside. So it's going to have to break through these EMAs. It's going to have to get to here and then potentially get lower than that for us to really realize this bear market. We're still above the zero line on the storyteller. If it does go to a green dot green and we do get new upside PTS targets, I think I'd be pretty convinced we're back in a bull market, if I'm honest. But the break of this high is going to be the confirmation of that. So we're waiting out for that. So stocks in a very, very sideways place at the moment. I'm not really looking for any new stock positions, especially from the DAX and the S&P 500 companies, until I get a clearer picture of whether we're going to break out. My preferred option obviously is to the upside, because we'll get longer swing trades. But if it is to the downside, that's fine. We're going to need to break through some significant levels there for me, and how I trade for the long term for that to work out. Let's go and look at some currency pairs. Euro dollar has been hitting the deck recently. Look at this, really strong downside movements. PTS has been working a treat. The last week and the week before, I showed you these downside PTS targets. This has hit that already. It's opened a new one to the downside. Doesn't look like it's changing at the moment. So the Fed are a little bit more bullish than the ECB. Although ECB rate hike expectations have increased, it's not really been that much. Whereas the Fed are talking about running off the balance sheet and also hiking rates as well a bit more aggressively this year. And that's why we see euro dollar moving down. But we don't really need to pay attention to any of that news, because we've got these PTS targets and this momentum trigger. That's all you really need to care about. Let's go and look at GBP USD then. That's also been a little bit bearish, and you can see that's close to breaking the wave low as well. And then we've got downside PTS targets there too, so quite good. Let's go and look at some commodities. Let's start off with one of the bigger ones, one of the major ones, which is US crude. You can see this has moved down as expected, as we spoke about as well. That's had quite a nice move down. PTS targets, I'm not sure if they'll get hit that low, if I'm honest. The reason why I'm not sure they'll get hit that low is because this support area looks absolutely massive, and we've got a 200 period moving average there, one of the big moving averages. So I'm not sure we'll get that far, but we're bearish for now. And then hopefully if we do see a move back up in line with this uptrend, back above the moving averages, I'll happily take a long there. One of the best trades we've had from the live trading room is not that one, is this one, natural gas, sorry. This PTS worked a treat. Also beyond that, this momentum trigger worked a treat. This is still going. Beautiful trade now. Hit the U-shaped target on a massive scale. You know, this is one of the best trades we've had this year. Gave you a little bit of chop in the middle, but this is where patience really kicks in. I was really proud of a few of our members that managed to hold the trade through this really choppy tide and get through it to the end. So that was really, really top quality. Gold is not moving. I've not really been happy with gold. You can see here sideways movements, white candles in the middle of the moving averages. There's no trade there for me. It's in an uptrend, you can see that, but we're below the zero line on the storyteller. So if that happens, just leave it alone, move on. There's better things to trade. Copper, one of my favorite asset classes in general, gives me a good idea of what's going on in the world. these trades both worked out. I'm not really fully convinced on this uptrend. It's moving really choppy and really slow. Long term, I'm still bullish this market, but right now there's nothing in it for me. There's nothing here for me to be watching and me to be looking out for. So really, indices, I think we're bearish for a little while. Euro dollar GBP still looking bearish. Commodities are very mixed. I'm looking for a long signal in oil for the next few weeks. Nothing imminently. And yeah, markets are ticking along quite nicely, and the PTS and the momentum trigger are working really well. And I'm a fan of that, so it makes me happy. So that's good. Again, we're doing a Learn to Trade Live event on Wednesday next week. So that, I believe, is the 13th. So please come along to that. If you are an STA member, I'm speaking on the 12th at the STA. So please attend that as well. And if you do have any questions, please send them in. I'll be happy to answer them for the next video. Thanks a lot.